Welcome to Hot Flash Chronicles, where midlife is messy, menopause is madness, and we're sweating through it together.
We're Angie and Shelly, two caffeine-fueled, slightly inappropriate grandmas who say what everyone's thinking.
So grab a drink, crank up the AC, and let's dive in.
Shelly! Angie! I am so excited. We are doing another episode of Hot Flash Chronicles. Wow. We have had such good feedback from people on our episodes that it's really making us feel incredible. Yeah. And speaking of how we're feeling, what's our topic today, Shelly?
It is the mini moods of menopause.
Moods of menopause. We had this as a request from somebody that was on one of our TikTok lives the other day, because we said, what do you guys want us to talk about? By the way, if you have ideas for episodes that you would like to hear, please let us know, and we'd love to do that. So moods of menopause, I was like, oof, there are a lot, and they don't all fall under the joyful, uplifting, and happy category.
No, and they're not all negative either. I think that for some of us, maybe in our lifetime, we haven't experienced the intensity levels that maybe accompany any emotion. I think things get enhanced.
Yeah, if you imagine like a volume button on your emotions and it's like a dial, you go through life hanging out at like 6 is the maximum, and now we're tipping 15.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And it's like the irritability, the frustration, the crabbiness, the sadness. There's a lot going on. Here's what I'm super joyful about. No more monthly visitors.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely
there's upsides.
There's upsides.
The moods aren't really one of them.
No, they're really not. And it's like when somebody says like, what are the moods? Or it's kind of like menopause has there's this mystique about it, or this folklore that women get just really crazy, angry, frustrated.
Not wrong.
Sometimes that absolutely is not wrong. There are some women who, because of the hormone fluctuations and everything that's happening, absolutely do interpret and feel things at those kind of intensity levels. But then, you hear about that your whole life, or maybe you had a mom or an aunt or a woman in your life who was like that, and you're like, OMG, am I going to be like that? Is that what it's going to be like for me? And you go through it, and no, that's not your experience at all. So to me, that is the whole conundrum, the whole mystery of menopause, is we have no way to know how we as an individual are going to go through it.
Right.
Other people's experiences may not be even close to what ours is.
Your mileage may vary. That's where we're at. So, and I know that some guys feel this too as they age, that they go through like a change of sorts. It's different than menopause because they're not like leaving their childbearing years. So I'm sure that they just like don't want to put up with shit anymore, or they give less shits about things. And I feel like that's part of how I feel, is like, I used to really, here's something I said the other day, which I felt like was profound. People pleasing used to be my superpower, but I hung that cape up 2 years ago. That felt pretty profound. I got really good feedback on that. So I used to be very people pleasing, and I do want to do a whole episode just on people pleasing, because that's something that I know a lot about. But I think because the people pleasing has kind of gone away, I don't know if that's due to menopause. I'm just not giving a shit about a lot of things that I used to put a lot of energy and bandwidth into.
Yeah. I think when we're talking about, like, men kind of have a midlife thing too.
They buy sports cars.
Yeah. If you think about what this really is biologically, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, there are hormonal changes that we go through, and our hormones affect a lot of different things. It's not just like, oh, your gut hormones or this, or, or your reproductive hormones. There's a lot of stuff that ends up being up in the parts of your brain that allow you to experience joy or to experience sadness or sorrow. there are hormones that directly impact your emotions. So whether you're a man or you're a woman, your hormones will change. Therefore, your moods will change, or how you feel them will change. Therefore, your personality can be interpreted by others as changing. Like some people might say, you just used to be so sweet, and you just used to have so much patience, and now you don't. Why? And it's like, because I'm literally not that person anymore.
Right.
I am a new version of myself, and it's not.
And I don't know about the physiology of it, but if you think of the other time in our life where we go through a dramatic difference in how your hormones are balanced and received, it's puberty.
Right.
So we go from being kids to, whatever gender you are, you hit puberty and everything changes and you get really dramatic and emotional and all of these things. Our minds need some time to figure out what it's like to live in this mind with new settings. So factory reset. But if you think like teenagers are also often labeled as grumpy or snippy, right, all of those things. And then it levels out because our minds figure out how to balance that and they self-correct. And I think, now that I'm thinking about it, it probably happens the same way with menopause because we're just giving a tune-up and dumping in a whole bunch more stuff that wasn't there before. Our mind is like, whoa, we just spent the last 30 years recalibrated from the time we hit puberty, and now you're throwing a whole nother, we got to figure it out.
Yeah. And during that time, when other people are on the outside, watching you, and they're making these comments like, well, you're different. You used to do this, you used to do that, and now you don't do that anymore. It is okay that you are not that person anymore, and that you don't do things the way you used to. That is part of our journey as humans.
Right.
We're going to change, we're going to evolve, and other people sometimes don't like change, and they maybe liked you exactly as you were. So if you're acting outside of those parameters, it can be hard on them. But that really is a them problem. It is not.
The way you're behaving is none of their business.
Yeah, you have to do this process. You have to go through the reset and figure out, now how do I do all these things? Because maybe you weren't overly emotional. Maybe the little things didn't get to you before because
you had calibrated to figure out how to deal with those hormones being reset into a different configuration, right?
Yeah.
It's like a calibrated something, it's like, we got to figure out how to live like this now. And that's why they call it the change. Cause now it's like, joke's on you. You got to figure this shit out again.
Yeah.
And I know some people are forced into early menopause. Some people that listen to us were forced into early menopause. I had a hysterectomy 14 years ago. I kept my ovaries. So I said, am I still going to go through menopause? And they said, you will, but it won't be like, there won't be the physical markers as significantly as like not getting your period anymore. So you'll just have to pay attention to what's going on. And I kept like, oh, maybe I'm going to miss menopause. And then boom, it hits. And so I know there are people on all different age ranges that go through this, but it's still a recalibration of the hormone. I mean, I don't want to talk like the physiology of it, but our brains have to get used to it again, just like we do when we're in puberty.
It is. It's definitely, it literally is a change. And you might, as you go through feeling these things, and I think one of the biggest things I hear from people is they don't feel like themselves. That's something they'll say is, I feel like I'm having an out of body experience, and I am watching someone else. And I know one of the biggest ones for me that really concerned me was that the brain fog. I got the menopausal, the brain fog and the inability to remember things as well. And I had a almost like photographic memory. I could remember any weird trivia fact or just everything from high school. I could remember things I learned in history and blah, blah, blah. Just could recall them. And one day I was trying to remember the actor Seth Rogen.
Did you almost forget it again just now?
Yeah, well, Rogen. Rogen.
I was like, well, she's going to
I
forget
could
it again.
see his
Ironic.
face. I could see all the movies he'd been in. I could hear his laugh. And I could not, for the life of me, remember his goddamn name. And that scared me. I'm like, my God, I know every actor and every actress that's pretty much ever existed. And I cannot pull this very well-known person's name for the life. If you gave me $1 million right now to say his name, I couldn't say it.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God, am I getting Alzheimer's? I mean, I seriously thought I maybe have something wrong with me. Like maybe I'm having early onset dementia, this or that. And later that night, I was out on the interwebs and I saw an article and it said, are you over 50 and do you think you might have Alzheimer's and do you think you're losing your memory and do you think blah, 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 you might just have menopause. And I was like,
have menopause?
Yeah.
It's not something you catch.
You might have just be in.
There we go. That's the one.
But yeah, it's like they said, you're not losing your mind. You're not having dementia. It is literally part of, some people experience this. So I wasn't prepared for that. And it was a little scary because it's not like me to not be able to do that thing of, having those kinds of accessibility to my memories. So there could be something like that for you. There could be something that you felt was very much a part of who you are, was very much in your DNA, was very much, and maybe that thing was controlling your emotions. Like maybe you were a very level-headed, easygoing person. And
she's not talking to me, by the way.
Or myself. I'm just not me. But maybe that is part of your, persona and how other people interpret you. And maybe you weren't a big crier, or maybe you were a big crier, and all of a sudden it's opposite. Like now you cry all the time, or now you don't cry at all, because those kinds of things can change. And so you start feeling like you're a stranger, and that you don't even know yourself, or sometimes you might not like this new version of you. Maybe you liked how you were before, and this is foreign and it doesn't feel right, and you just think, I'm not even likable. And those are all those kinds of emotions and mood swings. I remember my mom, really, that part affected her deeply. She had severe mood swings.
Interesting.
In menopause. And I feel like mine have not been like that. They haven't been severe. And I always tell people I've always just been kind of a bitch. So maybe it doesn't show.
No, you're not.
And I mean, but
you're far from a bitch.
I wouldn't say I'm a bitch, but I would say I've always been a fairly opinionated person who,
you're direct and
direct and not afraid to tell my, my views or opinions on things. And sometimes that is interpreted as being bitchy. Like when you'll stand your ground.
Right. Setting boundaries and saying this isn't okay with me is not bitchy. That's just being like.
In a world where men dominate, men are admired for those traits and actually get promoted. And when women do it, we're seen as being bossy, or we're seen as being,
bitch in the boardroom. And
just there's a different, it's not necessarily admired, a ball buster.
Well, there are lots of double standards as far, like if you think of a promiscuous man, he's like a stud and like high five, I've slept with blah, 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 women, but a chick's a slut if she does it. Like, there's so many double standards in the genders. But I think that as I've gotten older, I just don't care anymore. If you want to say that I used to be a slut, whatever. And so I've mentioned multiple times that this last year, I felt like I've gone through a depression. And I do think that part of that is just because my brain is not used to this hormone imbalance. And it's like, I don't know how to process. I'm used to just like pick up, dust off, like Angie's happy-go-lucky. Angie always brings good energy into the room. Angie has good vibes. And then I get stuck in like, I don't want to get out of bed. And it's like, oh, something must be wrong. And I've been saying, and I have had a lot of depressing things happen this last year, but I think a lot of it has to do with the hormonal imbalance.
Well, and then you feel pressure, like if everybody perceives you as being, oh, Angie is so positive, and
there's an expectation that you have to hold up.
This or that, and then you feel like you have to go act, that you have to act like that version that everybody else wants to see, and sometimes that's not who you are anymore.
100%.
And it's a pressure. And I think women, especially, we've been told, society has kind of given us a checklist of all the things that we should be to be
a good girl.
to be a good girl and to be a pleasing.
Fuck that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not sorry.
And so when some of us go through this change and other parts of our personality come out that maybe aren't ladylike or aren't perceived as being the good girl, I'm making air quotes, by the way, for the people.
Yeah, if you're just listening, she's air quoting a
I'm just
ton.
emoting with
Her hands. She's like, it's like she's Italian right now.
It's crazy.
You should check us out on YouTube if you're just listening, because the animatronics on Shelly are gold.
It's going hard. So anyway, there's this expectation that you're not being the good girl. You're not being this maybe ladylike is another one I can think of. And I think before we will see true equality in this world, women, we have to be the ones that allow ourselves to be whatever we truly authentically are, and that we stop putting on a persona that we believe other people want to see.
I love that.
That's on us. We have to destroy that myth. How are we supposed to get stuff done? How are we supposed to compete? How are we supposed to get things done efficiently if we're constantly having to pretend and act like we're something that we're not?
Right. And it's okay to handle the moods however you do, because your mileage may vary. Everybody's going to handle it differently. And if you know somebody that's going through menopause, maybe give them some grace and don't put expectations in, oh, Shelly used to always be so agreeable and now she seems like a bitch. Maybe Shelly is going through shit that you don't know about. So give each other some grace, give yourself some grace. And it's okay to go through the hills and the valleys. And, the moods, I would say for me, most of the moods that have come with menopause, the mood swings, have not been positive. It doesn't feel like high highs and low lows. It feels like mini highs and deep lows. So just know that if you're feeling there, if you're feeling like you're stuck there, it will get better. Menopause does not last forever. I learned that on the second episode we recorded of this. It doesn't last forever. And
it doesn't.
Yeah, give yourself some grace and just know it will get better. And it's something that is a chemical imbalance in your mind.
And
so
there are medical ways you can treat it. If you're really having severe reactions and severe mood swings, then that is absolutely something you should talk to your doctor about, your OBGYN, whoever they might send you to an endocrinologist, who knows, but there is HRT, hormone replacement therapy. Some people are a candidate for that. Some people aren't. There are some herbal things you can try.
Some oils, I think people were saying.
Yeah, there's lots of different, there's natural things, there's teas, there's this and that. Some of those might work for you. None of them might work for you.
Your mileage may vary again.
And you might have to do a little exploring, but just recognize for some people, if you wait, like I got interested in hormone replacement therapy because I was really starting to have issues with my hair.
Have you done that?
No, I went in and asked for it, and I'm too far into the process and I'm too old now. There is a cutoff for it. So you want to ask for that kind of treatment earlier on, and then they'll let you know if you're a candidate. It has to do with your pre-existing health conditions, different, things that maybe run in your family, cancers, thyroid issues, blah, blah. Anyways, metabolic things. So you might be a candidate for that. And if you are having the severe mood swings and you're feeling extremely low lows and stuff, then talk to your doctor.
Yeah, get some help.
And because some of it is just not grinning and bearing it. Some of it is you might need to do some actual intervention. Some people, yoga helps. Some people, meditation helps. Some people, it's like you can do, I want to call it behavior modification kind of therapy.
There's like the tapping and there's lots of different things and again, different things work for different people, and you just have to find out what works for you. But what we want you to know is that all of this is normal. It's all going to be a custom package that was built just for you or somebody that that's going through this. And grace is the thing that we need to show ourselves and others. So.
Yeah, that's the main thing, I think, is when you are in menopause, I highly recommend that you find your people, find your support system, find your friends, find people who can hold space for you while you're going through that. We are finding that doing this podcast and in conjunction with doing that with our social media, mostly right now, it's mostly TikTok. We are getting these rooms, chat rooms, or whatever you want to call it, full of people who have advice for each other, have compassion for each other, or like, oh, I tried this and it worked for me. It's like sometimes you just need that other person to let you know you are not alone. That's really
right.
Like in almost any life struggle. If you're feeling like you're alone, go find people.
Yeah.
There are always going to
find your community that will support and that you can support. So that was a good segue because we wanted to somehow, so we've been doing the TikToks for like 3 weeks and we have 33 subscribers. So I wanted to take a moment to do some shout outs for that. So I'm going to roll through a list. And since I can't remember them all, I wrote them down. We want to thank Ange, Cartoon Man, Kay, Caney, Alexia, Jennifer, Steph, Samantha, Shelly, Sita, Cat Blue, Beats WD Jax, Molly, Lori, Amy, Kim Bob, Diana, Heather, Shay, Besties with Bethy, Julie's, It's Just V, Cherie, Crafty Gigi, Tammy, Dragon Eye, Shenanigans with Sherry, Christine, Marie, Killer in the Mist, and Macklemore and Friends. You guys, it means the world to us that you're supporting 2 Grams trying to figure all of this shit out. So thank you for that. We appreciate your support. What we want to know is what you would like for us to talk about on our next episode. If you have ideas for episodes that you would love to hear, let us know. And as per usual, we're going to do some rapid fire questions.
Oh boy.
So I'm going to start. I just decided.
Oh no.
Shelly, what is your favorite emoji? Woo!
I like the little animal-y ones. Is animal-y a word?
It is now.
Like sometimes it's some cute little critter with little heart eyeballs. I don't know. Those are super cute. Those are cute. Flame. I like the flame because of us.
Yeah, love that.
I'm going to go with the flame and a cat. With
Okay.
heart eyes. Well, I'll say that's okay. So Angie.
Yes.
If you could have an unusual pet, would you pick a chameleon or an exotic snake?
Chameleon. Because my husband's afraid of snakes. I don't mind snakes.
I was going to say exotic bird, but then I remembered you're allergic to birds. So
Accurate. I'm allergic to a lot of things.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind either, but Jeff is afraid of snakes. So I would say just for the safety.
Just for staying.
Just for my marriage.
Yeah.
I'm going to say
for
that.
the sake of your marriage.
Shelly, what is your favorite midnight snack?
Oh, it varies depending on the mood. It's usually something crunchy and salty. I tend to go for that more than, so like maybe some mixed nuts or just something that has some corn nuts.
Corn nuts.
Yeah,
okay.
Crunchy. Those ones from Trader Joe's.
Have you guys noticed that when she says the answer, she kind of leans into the mic and yells?
I do.
Sorry for your car speakers.
You don't need those eardrums?
Corn nuts. Love it.
Okay, so Angie, would you rather have a affogato?
Oh, I just learned that.
An affogato.
Not an avocado.
Not an avocado. An affogato or a Turkish coffee.
Since I don't think I've had a Turkish coffee, I'm going to go with the affogato. So that was just ice cream with espresso or cold brew with it.
Yeah.
My God, that was good. Yeah. We went to the Tillamook cheese factory because we took a little girls' vacay down in Oregon with Shelly and her daughter's family, which was incredible. Went to the Tillamook factory and it was awesome. So I would go affogato. Yeah. For sure.
Go look those out. Turkish coffee is interesting too. We'll have to.
Well, I feel like you're going to have to make it for me.
Bye. We're like, hey.
We both inhaled like we were going to roll us out.
Thank you so much for joining us. Get your ideas into us so we can make some more of these kinds of themes.
And it means the world to us that you've chosen to listen to us and bring us into your lives for just a moment. If you feel so called, we would love a like, a subscribe, a 5-star review, all of those things, only if you feel so called. With that, we are going to say, see you Friday, and we love you.
Ciao!
Bye!
That's a wrap on this episode. If you laughed, related, or just need more, hit subscribe.
Check out the show notes to find us on socials and YouTube, and join our Patreon for exclusive extras.
And remember,
we're still hot,
just in flashes.